Hey Supernatural fans, welcome to another video on very hard to find stuff. And actually some of this stuff is, or at least a couple of these things are almost next to impossible to find. The first is Dean's Army bag. This bag, upon my research, it's obviously Canadian and it was a Special Forces bag, and this bag only has 3 buttons on it. Now, the more common one is the 5-button bag, but Dean carried, of course, a 3-button bag. And as we all know, the stuff on Supernatural is they went out of their way, literally, to make things really difficult to track down. I know this because I have talked to Chris Cooper, and I have when I say giving words, I was just, ribbiting him and stuff like, thanks for making my life very difficult on trying to find this stuff. But it is, from what I've gathered on my research on this bag, is Canadian Special Forces. I think just the regular Army was the 5-button bag. So if anybody else has got something different, what they have about that, drop a line and stuff, because I always want the truth, but upon my research, Special Forces. The other item that's really hard to find is this Mule Knife, and it has a Stag Tip handle on it, and this is the knife that supposedly Dean sleeps under every night with under his pillow, and he's actually, Jensen / Dean has used this a few times on the show. It sits in the back of the weapons box in a lot of the screenshots and stuff like that. And it is so hard to find, so hard to find. Guys, and everybody's going to ask me where I found everything. My answer is always the same. It's eBay. I've searched and searched and searched and searched and kept looking and looking until I found the items that I was needing. And sometimes I was lucky enough to buy 2, sometimes 3 or 4, and then sometimes when it comes to the Army bag, it was just one of those. And the Mule Knife, I believe I've actually owned 2 of these. But when I put it up for sale on my Everything Supernatural page, literally, I think it was 5 minutes and it was sold. So Mule is a very expensive knife. I believe they're made over in Spain, and their quality is superb. It's a really, really nice knife. I collect knives, so that was always, I have no problem spending money on a good quality knife. Do I use this knife? Absolutely not. It's decoration. It's for, props, or, just to hang in the weapons box. And so would I advise somebody to go out and spend, I think at the time on this knife, I spent, I want to say $250, which is crazy for a knife that I'm never going to use. But it's just one of those things. I wanted it in my weapons box. I bought it. I had the buyer's remorse. And then, after I got it, I was like, hey, this is really cool. And not too many people out there have this knife. The only one, besides the one I sold, the only other person I know that has this knife for their Impala is Stephen Hornback. And Stephen actually located his first and bought it on eBay. And then, I just kept looking, and there was a knife collector letting go of a collection, or splitting up a collection, not of Supernatural. And so when I paid $250 for it, that was not because they advertised it as Supernatural. It was just the Mule Knife, and like I said, extremely hard to find. The last item that I'm going to talk about is the boys' EMF detector. The EMF detector, let me see if I can try to get the glare and stuff off of that, is made by Dustin Westby. Dustin, I hope I pronounced your last name right. If not, I apologize. But Dustin, just these EMFs that are unbelievable. And if you go back into my earlier videos, if you probably type in supernatural EMF, you'll see one. And this one works. I'm just not going to turn it on and everything, but it makes the noises and the needle moves and the lights and everything. Bought this from Dustin. Dustin made these here, oh my God, years ago. And we had one. He sent it to me to use in a video, the one I did. And it was actually supposed to be part of the supernatural documentary, but it got cut out for legal reasons, we'll say. And so at the end of the season 10 DVDs, the special feature of the fans, that was actually like a 3-hour deal, and it got cut for legal reasons. Not complaining about it or anything like that, but it never showed up in the documentary. Now, with that being said, after I got done filming with that, I sent this back to Dustin to, because it was his. And then I decided I'll just get one at a later date. I was spending money on getting angel blades made and, all this other stuff. And, well, what happened was the parts became so hard to find that Dustin kind of quit making them. And it wasn't but here, maybe a month ago or so, Dustin advertised that he had one for sale. And I just jumped on it. I'm like, you know what? Just not even going to screw around with it. And I just bought it. I needed it for my collection. Now, with that being said, Dustin has a Etsy page. So if you guys go over to Etsy and just type in Supernatural EMF, he doesn't have a lot. I mean, I don't think there's any listed right now, but that is where you will be able to find this EMF. And like I said, Dustin does not make them very often, and I believe, from my understanding, it is based upon the availability of these old parts it takes to make this. I will show you the back of it and stuff, and there's the button and the switch, and you turn it on and off, and guys, that is, like I said, to me, iconic piece. Needs to be sitting in the back of a supernatural weapons box, But if you don't have one, does that mean you're a loser or anything? No, it's something that you should strive to get. The army bag, the knife. Sometimes the thrill is in the hunt. I love looking for this stuff. And really, once I found the pieces like the army bag, because it took me so long. And oh man, this was gone years ago. I actually had 2 of these, and somebody just kept hounding me and hounding me. And literally I said, oh, if you want it, you can have it for $800. Which was hey, I don't want to sell this bag, because I knew how rare they were. And they're like, okay. I was like, what? The first thing that I think of when they go okay is, first off, was my price too low? Which to me was a stupid price. But that's the price I said, and so they got my second bag. And like I said, you just don't see those things pop up. And then you just don't see the Mule Knife pop up either. But I just thought I was going through my collection today, like I said, working my way back in the room, and these 3 pieces I came across. Actually, the Mule Knife, my good friend Jan Ashmore had this knife for a long time because they make knives, and Jan is the one that makes the leather journal. And she's like, hey, we want to copy that knife, and would you let us, borrow it for a while? And I was like, yeah, sure. And so she actually had it for 6 months, somewhere in there, and maybe a little longer, maybe a little less, somewhere in that vicinity. And it was here a while back. They were coming up to pick up a car. Jan and her husband bought the original screen-used Volkswagen from the TV show Once Upon a Time. Now, I've never seen an episode of that show, but they bought it. They had it sent to us, and we repainted it, and they were going to come pick it up. And um, I was like, hey, Jan, could you, send my knife back, when you guys come to get this car, because I want to do some videos. And she was like, yeah, no problem. I think they've already got their knife made. And I do want to point out something, since I'm talking about the knife. The Stag Tip right here, that is actually not Stag. It is resin. It's a fake tip on it. Now, because Jan and her husband are really good knife makers, I think they had a piece of Stag antler, and that they were going to actually install on their knife. And we looked at a bunch of pieces, and she's like, which one do you think really kind of matches that one? And I gave her my 2 cents, what I thought. And so I think they have the knife done. I have not seen or heard about it, but I am presuming that they have, since they're like, yeah, you can have the knife back. So, but very hard to find. And the EMFs, they're tough to find. Like I said, it's not like Dustin is whipping out 100 of these a week. I don't even know if he's making more than 5 a year, to be honest with you. I don't know if it's even that. So I think what happens is he comes up with enough pieces, he does one, and then he puts it up on Etsy. And like I said, they go extremely fast. And since I just about have, there's a few little pieces that I need for my weapons box, but I think I might hold off on looking for those pieces. I always look, but working on some other things, we'll put it that way, and we'll see how the journey unfolds. And because I may not need those pieces, we'll put it that way. So with that being said, if and I'll put this out there, if everything goes to my evil plan, my diabolical plan, I will probably end up selling my collection. Just throwing that out there. But things have to fall a certain way, and I don't know if they are, but maybe here in a couple weeks I'm going to know. So I'm going to leave it at that. Not trying to be too mysterious, but don't want to reveal too much at this point of the ball game, or as I like to say, jinx myself. And so with that being said, I just thought you guys might like, a little bit more information and what I know about these items. Like I said, if you could ever find them, I would definitely pay the price. If you are these, what I call the super collector, usually has the Impala and is knocking themselves out trying to find the correct stuff for the weapons box. Like I said, you're going to have to step up to the plate and pay for this stuff. But if you find it, but I highly encourage that. They're just those pieces that demand the price, I guess. And so anyway, that's, if you don't get them, you're no less of a person or collector if you don't. I just thought, there are so many iconic pieces in the weapons box, and there's been one piece that I've been looking for since day one. And I know a couple people that have it. And does it bother me that they have it? Absolutely not. I'm ecstatic that these fans have tracked down something that I couldn't get my hands on. And it makes me try even harder to find that piece. But, it is what it is. And guys, I get happy when somebody sends me pictures of their Impala. And, hey, I found this prop. And, I found this jacket or this shirt or these boots or this knife, whatever it is. I just think it's so cool. And to me, when the fans get to locate that stuff after years of searching or months or days or hours or whatever it may be, I'm extremely ecstatic for them and their happiness, because I know how I was when I found my pieces. And like I said, I don't show this stuff off to go, oh, look at me. Um, these videos are educational, and I always want people to be informed on the correct stuff. And I will give the information that I know, like I said about the Army duffel bag or whatever. If I knew where one was or any of these items, I'd be like, hey, get over to so and so, and they have them or whatever. But unfortunately, that's just not the case with these items. So, enough of my rambling. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And as always, if you have questions or anything, just let me know and we'll go from there. Talk to you later, and you guys have a good one. Bye.